My name is Naomi Carter, and what I'm about to share with you changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and purpose. On the evening of April 22, 2024, I didn't just have a near-death experience. I died for exactly 15 minutes. During that time, I witnessed something beyond human comprehension. Jesus Christ himself appeared before me, revealing sacred truths about the divine role and spiritual destiny of Black people. Truths that had been buried, misinterpreted, and hidden for far too long. I was entrusted with a mission: to bring this message to the world. What I learned shook me to my very soul. And before I share these revelations with you, you need to understand how I got to that moment. It was a routine evening, or so I thought. I was on my way to my local church for our weekly prayer service, something I had been attending faithfully for over 3 decades. My faith had always been my anchor, though deep inside, I had wrestled with lingering questions about race, spirituality, and divine purpose. Questions that never seemed to have clear answers. That night, the air was crisp, and a light drizzle coated the streets, making the roads slick. I glanced at my watch. 6:45 p.m. I was running late, and I hated being late. Sister Evelyn had asked me to lead the opening prayer, and I didn't want to let her down. As I approached the intersection of Bradbury and Elm, everything changed in the blink of an eye. Out of nowhere, blinding headlights pierced through the rain. A truck barreled through a red light, its massive frame closing in faster than I could react. My hands jerked the wheel, but there was no escaping it. The impact was brutal. Metal twisted and crunched like paper. Glass exploded, and then silence. An eerie, overwhelming silence. For a moment I felt nothing. No pain, no fear, just stillness. Then I realized I was floating. It was as if I had been lifted from my body, weightless and free. The chaos of the crash faded behind me, replaced by something indescribable, a peace so deep it felt eternal. And then I opened my eyes. What I saw next defies earthly description. I wasn't in a hospital. I wasn't in the wreckage. I was somewhere else entirely. The space around me was not a room, yet it stretched infinitely in all directions. A radiant light surrounded me, but it wasn't blinding. It was warm, alive, and full of a presence I can only describe as divine. And then I saw him. Jesus Christ stood before me. His presence was unlike anything I had ever imagined. Not just powerful, but overwhelming in love, wisdom, and peace. His eyes held the depth of eternity, and his smile radiated pure, unshakable compassion. I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face. Before I could speak, he did. "Naomi," he said, his voice carrying both gentleness and absolute authority. "There are truths you must know. Truths that have been hidden, twisted, and forgotten for too long." At that moment, every doubt, every fear, every question I had ever carried melted away. His voice wasn't just something I heard. It resonated deep within my very being. I could barely speak, but he already knew what was in my heart. "You have carried questions about your people, about their place in my divine plan," he said. "Today, I will reveal truths that will set many free. From confusion, from distortion, from centuries of misunderstanding." As he spoke, I felt waves of love and wisdom washing over me. This wasn't just an encounter, it was a calling. And then, Jesus lifted his hand, and suddenly, visions began to unfold before my eyes. I saw history like I had never seen before. It was as if time itself had been peeled back, revealing truths long buried under centuries of distortion. The first vision showed a land filled with light and wisdom, ancient Africa, flourishing with knowledge, spirituality, and divine purpose. I saw mighty civilizations rise, their people deeply connected to the Creator. They were not cursed, they were chosen. Then I saw something that made my spirit tremble, the lie that changed everything. "The curse of Ham," Jesus said, reading the unspoken question in my heart. One of the greatest misinterpretations of my word. Used to justify cruelty, used to oppress. But it was never my intention. In an instant, the truth unfolded before me. I saw Noah, I saw his sons, and I saw the moment that had been twisted to justify centuries of injustice. The curse was never upon all of Ham's descendants. It was specific to Canaan. It was never about race, never about skin. It was about choices and consequences. And yet, this false teaching had been weaponized, shaping the course of history in devastating ways. The vision shifted again. I saw centuries unfolding. Truth turned into distortion, wisdom turned into chains. I watched as powerful African civilizations, rich in knowledge and spiritual depth, were reduced to mere footnotes in rewritten history. Their faith, their divine connection, their contributions, all buried under layers of false narratives. But Jesus was not finished. "Look closer," he said. And suddenly, I saw the resilience of my ancestors. Even in the darkest times, through slavery, oppression, and suffering, something remained unbroken. I saw them singing in the fields, their voices carrying both lament and unshakable hope. I saw them praying in secret, calling on my name when the world told them they had no right to. They tried to strip them of their identity, but they could not strip them of my presence. Jesus showed me how faith was never stolen, it was carried. How the very people the world tried to break became vessels of a divine strength that could not be extinguished. The vision deepened. I saw enslaved men and women whispering prayers under the moonlight, their hands clasped together in defiance of those who sought to silence them. Their faith was not given to them by their oppressors. It was their inheritance, passed down from generations before. Jesus spoke again, his voice filled with both sorrow and pride. "Even in chains they carried my spirit. Even in suffering they never let go of me. And because of that, they transformed the world." I saw how their resilience gave birth to something unshakable, a spiritual power that moved mountains, broke chains, and ignited awakenings. From the hush harbors where they prayed in secret, to the church pews where they built communities, to the marches where they demanded justice, it was all connected. They were not cursed, Jesus said. They were chosen to endure, so they could teach the world what faith truly looks like. Tears streamed down my face. I had never seen my people this way before. Not as victims, but as a people entrusted with a divine strength, one that had carried them through centuries of struggle, and would carry them into a future of victory. The vision shifted once more. I saw generations unfold, each one carrying the torch of faith forward. I watched as spirituals became gospel hymns, as whispered prayers in the fields became revival fire in churches, as the spirit of endurance transformed into a movement that changed history. And yet the world still did not see. "The truth has been distorted," Jesus said, his expression filled with sorrow. "They have been told they are less, that their faith is borrowed, that their suffering was meaningless. But I tell you this, nothing has been wasted." I saw the civil rights marches, the sermons of preachers crying out for justice, the hands lifted in praise despite centuries of hardship. This was not weakness, this was power. "The world called them broken," Jesus continued, "but I have called them refined. Through every trial, their faith has been purified like gold. And in the days to come, their wisdom will be needed more than ever." The weight of his words settled deep in my soul. Everything had been leading to something greater. And then he showed me what was coming next. The air around me shifted. The past faded, and I was now looking at something new. The future. I saw a time of great shaking, a world on the brink of spiritual war. Confusion, division, deception. Darkness creeping in, trying to smother the light. And yet, in the midst of it all, I saw them. People who had endured. A people who had learned to worship in chains, to pray through suffering, to hold on to faith when everything around them said to let go. And now, the world would need what they had carried all along. Your people's journey, Jesus said, has not been just about survival. It has been preparation. The time is coming when their faith, their endurance, their wisdom will be a guiding light for many. I saw them rising, not in arrogance but in purpose, not asking for permission to lead, but stepping into what had already been ordained. And then Jesus said something that sent chills through my soul. They have been last, but soon they will be first. Not for revenge, but because they have been made ready. The vision before me intensified. I saw people from every nation, searching, desperate, lost. The world was unraveling, and they needed something real to hold on to. And then, I saw the ones who had already been through the fire. They knew what it meant to pray when the world rejected them, to sing when their voices weren't welcome, to trust in God when everything else was taken away. They had already learned to fight in the Spirit. I saw churches that once stood on the margins becoming spiritual fortresses. I saw voices that had been silenced now speaking truth with power. I saw a people who had been told their faith was borrowed showing the world what faith really looked like. They will teach others how to stand when the shaking comes, Jesus said. Because they have already stood through centuries of storms. Could hardly breathe. This was why they had endured. This was why they had never been destroyed. The world had tried to erase their story, but God had preserved it for such a time as this. As the vision faded, I felt a shift deep within me. This wasn't just something I had seen. It was something I was now responsible for. I turned to Jesus, my heart pounding. What do I do with this? I asked, my voice trembling. He looked at me with unshakable love and absolute authority. Tell them, he said. Tell them that the time of distortion is over. Tell them that their suffering was not in vain. Tell them that their faith is not borrowed. It is their inheritance. Tell them that I am calling them into their purpose. His voice grew even stronger. Tell them the time is now. I felt my spirit being pulled back, the light fading, the warmth slipping away. And then, gasped awake. I was in a hospital bed, surrounded by worried faces. Doctors, nurses, family, all staring at me in disbelief. They told me I had been clinically dead for 15 minutes. They called it a miracle, but I knew better. It was a mission. And now I am telling you, the time of awakening has come. This message isn't just for me, it's for you. If this revelation stirred something in your spirit, don't let it end here. Subscribe now and join a growing community of truth seekers, believers, and those ready to step into divine purpose. Drop a "the time is now" in the comments if you feel this message resonating with you. Share this with someone who needs to hear this truth. You never know whose life might be changed forever. Let's awaken together. Let's rise. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning.